Alright guys, welcome to Professional Goblins, I almost said Little Red. I'm Scott, and this is Mike, and today with us we got Jacob. How you been, man?
Hello, thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. I mean, I think we're the ones who are honored here with such a prolific artist.
It's true, it's true. He's so
I
good.
do appreciate it.
Everywhere. It's awesome.
Seriously. I bet say I can't go down my Facebook feed without at least like 3 of your ads being like, "Hire me, I'm a badass," because it's true.
Hey, look.
And here I don't pay for any advertising space on Facebook.
I know, but it
doesn't come up that often.
No, it's because it says we're friends on Facebook, and someone will go, check him out, check out Jacob's artwork, and I'm like, free advertising. Pass that along then.
I think that's Mike. That's usually Mike.
Well, I think it's
advertises you
yep,
all the time.
Yep.
True. Yes.
And I think your art speaks for itself. It's advertising enough for itself.
Well, I'm actually looking forward to. Oh, go ahead.
I'm just going to say thank you. I've been working at it for a long time, so you know.
Wait, you mean it didn't happen overnight?
Nothing happens overnight. Art is a skill like anything else. It's,
yep.
I just didn't come out, you know, drawing this way. You know, if you take a look at my pieces that I was doing, even just 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years, they are totally different from what I'm doing now.
Totally. I love working with artists because I get to, like, over a long period of time. We're working with this girl, Deanna Roberts, and I worked with her 4 or 5 years ago. And, you know, she was good. She was decent. You know, it's like out of college. You know, she did some good stuff. And we got some pieces for her, and I'll talk about those later, but holy crap. Holy crap, D. If you're watching this, holy crap. You know? Went from 0 to 60, but, you know, it took a few years. But, excuse me.
Yeah,
Anyway.
It's really awesome to follow Jacob on Facebook and stuff, because, like, I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks soon, and I won't be, like, on Facebook. And when I come back, I know that I can look at Jacob's wall and see, like, 50 brand new illustrations for a bunch of awesome stuff. So if you do not already follow Jacob, you should.
You definitely should.
But, yeah. So for folks who are new to the podcast and the show, we're live on Twitch. You're welcome to join us at twitch.tv/LittleRedGoblin. And we're going to be starting the show, actually, with a new segment, which will focus on reviewing products. However, we do not host this segment. This segment is hosted by Cool Shredder
and the Batbro.
This week we're going to be talking about The Wealth System by Straight Path Games.
Straight.
Now, the point of the Straight Path Games PDFs is to make Pathfinder simpler and faster to use with new rules and different tweaks. The wealth system is a very abstract thing. You get a wealth score equal to your level plus charisma modifier, and then it takes out a lot of the hubbub of going through marketplaces and trading your +1 longsword for a +1 longbow. All in all, it's short, it's quick, it does what it says it's going to do, and I like it. I personally, as a player, really enjoy doing those terrible things where you sell, like, all of the party's loot that you've stolen from them and then buy very nice things, and the wealth system may not count for that, but it does have things like credit, so you can borrow nice things from other people.
Borrow.
And as a GM, it's very, 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 very persuasive, because now you can give magical items to the town guardsmen, and it won't become hunts for the town's guardsmen, so I can have 50 +1 longswords and retire as a king. All told, I will give it 5 throwing knives. But it will not get the coveted shuriken, because there are no dead turtles in the product.
Nah, man. Listen to this. Alright. I read this. It was good. But I had some problems with it. I have some problems with a lot of things. I have a lot of problems with talking and staying awake, but this PDF, I mean, it was good. But the problem I had with it was, like my bro here said, I like that shit. I like going, man, we gotta manacle that dude. We gotta chain him to a bed. And they're like, nah, man, we don't got no manacles. You gotta improvise. You gotta improvise and find like rope, or hair, or rope hair, or hair rope, or limbs. And you know what? I don't know. I just don't like being able to be like, yeah, you got some rope, you got some manacles, because when you're gonna describe these manacles, they're gonna be fluffy. Are they fluffy? Are they gonna be, the leather type, the type the cops use? Not that I would be any type of connoisseur in those things, but yeah, stuff like that. However, overall, as an abstract concept, I like it. I really like that you could pool your party's wealth together easily. It's everyone plus or minus, or that you're about the same wealth level. You can add one for every person there, so you can get yourself together and get some big thing, like a boat, like a party boat. Everyone wants a party boat. You want a party boat? I want a party boat.
From which to kill turtles.
That's a thing you could do.
Indeed. So, wealth system, we think you should check it out.
Yeah.
All right. So, back to the regular format of the podcast.
Note to self: not doing that again.
We're going to start by talking about the favorite games that we are currently playing in. Jacob, you are the guest, so you have the honor of being the first one to tell us.
Oh, the favorite game that I'm currently playing in? Well, that would probably be the one game I'm currently playing in. It is a Pathfinder campaign that is set in the world of Warcraft. And in that, I am playing a paladin by the name of Baron. And he's actually based on the paladin that I created when I played World of Warcraft, named Baron. And he's a ton of fun. He's a ton of fun to play. Mythic rules are weird and slightly heinously overpowering because we are being able to take on all sorts of things that we have no business going up against, even at 11th level.
Isn't that the point of it?
Well, I don't want to get into the whole mythic thing. But yeah,
but the character's a ton of fun. I'm having a blast with the game. The GM knows his Azeroth lore just like the back of his hand. So
wow,
it's really good.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Do you guys have you done any kind of changes to the system to match World of War? Is there a DPS mechanic? Or anything like that?
No, nothing like that. It's pretty much run straight Pathfinder. He has built a couple of classes to better emulate the classes as they appear in World of Warcraft. Instead of using the Shaman class from Pathfinder, he's made his own Azeroth Shaman class. So you put down the totems, you do the shape-shifting, all that sort of thing.
Very cool, very cool. There was an old, I forget what system it was for. They actually had a straight up Azeroth centric role playing game way back when, I remember. There's some really cool stuff in that. If you guys haven't had a chance to look at those PDFs,
yeah, those were for 3.0 and 3.5.
Were they?
I've got most of those.
Oh my, that's so cool. I remember reading over some of the dwarven stuff, and I was like, oh, dwarves with actual good lore. Salivating a little bit.
The dwarves in World of Warcraft are really cool. I have to give them that.
Yep.
I'm not a huge Warcraft fan, but the dwarves, I instantly gravitated to the dwarves.
I have a hit or miss relationship. Sometimes I'm like, that's the coolest thing, and then I'm like, but I can't play anything with it. Damn it. But yeah.
What about you, Scott? What are you playing in right now?
A lot more playtests. Lots and lots and lots of playtests. I'm going to skip today though, because the last playtest I was in is something kind of secret. So. Secret. But I will talk. Remember, last week I told you to remind me of the Ravenloft story, so I'll tell you about that later.
All right. Do you want to do it for your character thing? Is that what you?
Oh, I can do that for it.
Well, no, let me.
Yeah. You're doing yours. You're doing yours.
I'm going to talk about the Imperial Matchmaker.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the Mists of Kuma Kickstarter backers gave ridiculous amount of money to the campaign. So I'm running this very long adventure path for them, called the Imperial Matchmaker, because he said he wanted something with intrigue. So the Emperor has arranged 10 different marriages between 20 nobles in the 4 clans of the Battle of Broken Spears that have been ancestral nemesis. And there's I don't want to say how many Bengoshi, but there's more than this many Bengoshi involved trying to get the players to kill one of the brides or groomsmen, and also trying to get other people to kill the brides or groomsmen.
Nice.
So we're on session 12 now, and we finally got into the first day of the freaking weddings. It's taken me 12 sessions to get through that part. I mean, they're having fun, so that's the whole point. But it's just like, God, I thought we'd be here like 6 games ago.
Sure. Good boy.
So yeah, it was like a marriage in the garden. The whole thing is on my website, and Awesome has like pictures and stuff. But like, I had, they don't know exactly who. I know who. But somebody flew like high over the city and just like dropped suicide bombers, like kamikaze warriors, that were just strapped down with explosives onto the processions. So like,
fun, very fun.
It was, yeah. They were just like shooting dudes out of the air, and the samurai, who unfortunately was sick, so like I didn't want them to. I wanted to start because we had been on a hiatus for like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And like I think I played Steve's character correctly, because she like was jumping around, slashing at dudes in the air, and then at one point 2 guys were close enough that she could affect one if she managed to cause the one dude to explode. She'd trigger the other dude before.
Nice.
30 people died. So she did her like cut herself and disembowelment spell to kill the dude. Chain reaction. Oh, it was fantastic. Yeah, it was like I don't know. You're always like really worried when you're running one of those like climactic games where you're reaching like a peak in the plot, and there's like great trepidation, but it worked out.
I'm glad you got that payoff there, because
like,
sometimes you don't always get that.
Like, this is her first D&D game. So like this is
even better.
Like, big crazy boss fight kind of thing.
Get some cool stuff in there.
She had a great time, so I felt like I was like particularly good about it. You know, whenever you get to give a rookie one of those like seminal experiences.
That's quite a rewarding experience as GM.
Ravenloft story.
Okay, so Ravenloft story. Okay, this I reminded myself of this like 4 times. I think I blacked this out for a while. So anyway, Ravenloft story. So back in college, I played in a Ravenloft game. I wasn't GMing. I was a ranger who went Knight of the Raven. Knight of the Raven is a hilarious class. You can the first level ability is Speak with the Ravens. What does it do? It's fucking useless. But you can speak with ravens. So the princess who was giving me lip, I turned to my celestial raven, was like, ah! And would have the raven talk back to me, and she just thought I was crazy the entire game until I saved her life. But I did it intentionally. Anyway, so Ravenloft story. If you guys don't know what Castle Ravenloft is, you're going to a castle to destroy a vampire named Shrod. Now, Shrod is a badass, especially if you're under level, and every room is a new nightmare. So in this party, we have myself, who is a ranger at the time, I think, with a pet wolf, a cleric of sorts. I don't remember what he was. It's 3-5 way back when. And he had... He was a punchy cleric for some reason. I forget why, but he was a punchy cleric. Then we had a dude who kept dying. Like, every fucking game, his character would die, and he was currently rolled as a sorcerer, and he was with our group, and we're like, alright, whatever. And we had a warlock. Okay, and the warlock had been with us, so basically us 3 had been alive the entire time with a rotating cast of sorcerers. Then we had this new player who came in, who was a friend of the GM, and he had a barbarian with a bunch of war dogs, and he had some, like, tortured backstory about how Shrod killed his wife or something like that. And we're sitting there looking at this thing. It was something that made us have evil, bad emotions, and he ran up the stairs because of them and left the party. Okay, whatever. Warlock grabs the evil thing, decides to drop it off the edge of the castle. He can fly. What does he carry? Runs over, goes down the hall. Well, we're all sitting here, and the GM goes, alright, barbarian, roll a will save. Why? These Cheshire Cat grins and eyes open up when you open that door. And he goes, okay, and he rolls it and he goes, alright, you don't know what happened. Takes him aside, tells him over there, comes back, the player's like, oh god, fuck. So, apparently he had been, like, suggestioned or dominated, I forget what, to believe that we were totally in league with Shrod and we're totally fucking with him.
Of course.
Of course. And, so he comes in a flying rage down the stairs, like literal rage, and we have the warlock, or the sorcerer go, hey buddy, I have a word to talk with, I want to talk to you about it. And the guy just flying leaps, just kills one shot's full HP to 0, the sorcerer. And this guy comes flying down the fucking stairs, and him and his dogs, because he didn't just buy fucking normal dogs for like a few GP, he bought like 25 GP war dogs or something. And I think we're like 3rd or 4th level, so these are like not a huge challenge, but a screaming barbarian totally is. And now the warlock is off doing his own thing, so it's me and the cleric, and we're like, alright, fuck this up. So we have a legit, like, super intense battle with this dude, and at the end we're like, all right, he's dead, the dogs are dead. Well, actually, he's unconscious, he'll be fine. We'll toss him in the armoire, the big, like, closet, put him over there, and the warlock comes back. Sees the sorcerer just slammed against the wall, blood everywhere, bunch of dogs. We're just in there panting, and he's like, well, what happened? And he's like, well, the barbarian turned on us, but don't worry, we subdued him. We think it's magic. And then he looks at the closet we shoved him in, and there's all this blood gushing out. And he's like, what did you do? And the GM goes, I will remind you, his rage has worn off now. So he was like negative like 20 points below and just dead. We had 2 PCs dead in like literally the span of like in-game like literally a minute. And we're like, alright, sounds good.
It's Ravenloft.
This is Castle Ravenloft. Fuck us.
Let's get out of here.
Yep. There's a...
Check for secret passages where other characters may be hidden.
Yeah. Is he over here off screen? Look at this guy. He's been here the entire time. And the sorcerer's player, man, he was pissed. He's like literally rolled that guy up and is just like, can we resurrect him? And I'm like, Shrod will resurrect him in a few hours. Yeah. And he's like, you're an asshole. I'm like, I know. Literally, you flipped off the raging barbarian. What did you think was going to happen? Anyway, that was a fantastic game. I had a bear at the end of that one when we were fighting Shrod, and we was going to kill this key NPC, and I'm like, I taught him one extra trick. What was it? Dance. So he did the thriller dance. That was his thing. So he did the thriller dance, and Shrod, Nat 1, like the guy's like, Jim's like, all right, you know what? You did a fucking awesome job in that. I'm going to let him roll to see if he's distracted by it. Rolls a fucking Nat 1, is just like, holy shit, is that a bear doing the thriller dance? Does not kill the person, and we kill him next round. I'm like, bear did it! Yes! Awesome! You go, bear!
Just total end of Guardians of the Galaxy. What
Totally.
are you doing? I'm distracting you!
It's a dance-off, bro! Anyway, so yeah, that was the Ravenloft story I felt I needed to tell. There are so many absurd things with that. I learned that summoning a monkey in that game does not actually mean summoning a giant gorilla who has a great grappling score. It means summoning a small lemur into a web golem who was on fire. And my ranger's just going, I killed the monkey! Oh god! I thought it was going to be a big one! Also, web golems. Fuck those things. Grapple out the ass. Anyway, that was my story.
Like a terrible monster.
Oh, nerd dog.
All right, Jacob. What's your favorite character in a game you're in right now? If it is not Baron.
Well, I'm actually running a superhero game right now, based on an adventure that I'm hoping to publish soon. I need like 2 pieces of art, and then I'm going to send it off to the editors.
Oh man!
Wait, I wonder if you know any artists.
God.
The problem is, when you're working on your own personal projects, those always have to be set aside for paying work.
Yeah.
So that's my issue with that, because I've been working on this adventure for a year now.
Oh wow!
And I'm only now getting to finish it. So, but yeah, I play tested the adventure called Disaster Day for my local group, and they loved it. And for Disaster Day, I created several pre-generated characters, and one of them is a speedster named Dart. When I initially wrote Dart up, he was a celebrity superhero.
I love it.
Just, hi, I'm Dart. Buy this soda. Hi, I'm Dart. Buy this product.
Very Blue Beetle. Not Blue Beetle. Oh my god. What the fuck? Not Ted Cord. His buddy. Booster Gold. Sorry. Very Booster Gold.
Very, very much like that. But when I handed the characters over, I have very experienced players, and
inexperienced. You said or experienced?
Experienced.
Okay,
very
experienced.
experienced players. So my buddy Tom, who I hand Dart over to, he just totally changes him, rewrites his background. He's no longer a celebrity. He's now this kid who's going to college on a science tech degree, and he is a utter nerd, and he's pretty much playing Seth Green in his teenage years as a speedster. And for mutants and masterminds, when you get hero points for doing fun things or silly things or heroic things, Tom is just getting stacks and stacks of hero points every session. he is running this character so wonderfully. It is
And you know that's stuff that comes from running with experienced players. When you have a player who will be like, the Glazebu asks, "What do you want? What do you wish for? Go to hell." You know what I mean? Like, and just throws that wrench in there intentionally, or just like rewrites a character, or just redoes a class how to fit their concept. I love experienced players like that, man.
Speaking of the gazebo, Tom knew the people involved in the gazebo story.
In the gazebo story. You know what the funny thing is? Every now and then when I toss one in this game, I had a 12-player game I ran for 2.5 years. Fun times. And at one point they came across a gazebo, and immediately the new players just like, "Did you say gazebo?" And everyone else just went, "Yes." Everyone, like, the other 11 players just went, "Yes," immediately. They're like, "Oh, okay, do we need to attack that?" And we're like, "Yes, we need to attack the gazebo." How about you, Mike? What do you got?
Well, I wanted to mention that, like, on corporate superheroes, the first time I saw somebody write one was, I think it was one of Jason Tondro's characters. I think it was one of his from Crucible City, and he was just perfect. It was perfect, like way better than Captain Amazing from Mystery Men. Like, I would have followed that hero on fucking Twitter. Like, it was always on point. And I just want to throw that one out there. So
Jason Tondro is great.
Yes, everything Jason does is great. Yeah, he's like an actual like professor of comics. Like, his name, Dr. Comics, is not just like a joke. It kind of is.
I love that. I love that you can be nowadays a Doctor of Comics. Oh my god.
Well, yeah, I think his thesis was on the round table of King Arthur and how that imagery has been like diffused throughout all of superhero media.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's great. Jason, 100%. He's got a well. We'll talk about
Kickstarters later.
Yeah. Yeah, my character right now. I'm playing a game set in the world of Jade, which is like a custom thing that my Sunday morning group is about. And my favorite character there is
Sunday morning gaming. God help you.
Riggis Murtaugh, or rather Sergeant Riggis Murtaugh. So like they're kind of a difficult group to play with. Like, I had to sack one of my characters last week because like they didn't like that he was comedic. To be fair, he was very funny, but you can read more about Priest Cletus Longtoe and the Church of Jeebus Crisp on my website. But so this game, I was just like, okay, what do you guys want me to play? And they're like, you can play the sergeant and just be like a serious cop. And I was like, okay, sure. Can I play, Murtaugh from Lethal Weapon? And they were all like, okay, sure. So it's like a medieval game, but I'm Sergeant Murtaugh, and like most of the time it's just me like screaming at the party for disobeying orders or destroying property or like intimidating witnesses and.
So lawful is what your alignment is.
So lawful, stupid. It's lawful stupid. He's lawful stupid. Although he's also lazy and he's about to retire. Like, that's the joke. Like, his retirement keeps getting pushed back because of this or that reason. Yeah. And I just greatly enjoy playing him and like having temperamental outbursts, which I'll only go on the temporal outburst for like about 30 seconds or so, and then I'll be like, and it continues for like 5 or 6 minutes.
Yep. Sometimes the set dressing like that is a bit is what you need to do. You're like instead of like I've had a game where it's like we had a bunch of people who are not like young or new, but like they probably would not appreciate me swearing profusely for 5 minutes. Not that ever happens, except in that one vampire game, man.
Time with Murtaugh.
So it literally is just like, so my character starts spewing the most vile stuff you've ever heard. The type of things that make grown men cover their ears and scream. Such profanities that even, Infernal doesn't have. And go on with that for like 5 minutes. And they're just like, what did he say at the end of it, And you're like, you don't want me to write that down, man.
Use your imaginations.
It's always better. Yeah, their imagination's always better than what I'm going to come up with.
It's true. All right. Next topic of discussion. Favorite project that we are working on that is ours. That's something that we are working on. Jacob, what are you working on right now? Do you want to talk about that adventure that you've been spending a year writing?
Sure. It's Disaster Day.
What are the 2 illustrations you have to do yet? Like,
I have to do the introductory comic, which is just 1 page, and then I need to draw a evil suit of mecha armor that's supposed to be, kind of homage to Ironmonger.
Nice. big, ugly, massive
Yeah,
brute. I love it.
Big, ugly, bristling with weapons, mecha suit. Disaster Day is a superhero adventure for Mutants and Masterminds 3rd Edition, and it takes place in the Superpowered Legends universe that I have been writing characters for the last 2 years. And
how many characters are you up to, by the way?
I believe
76?
at last count it was in the 70s.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're awesome. Go look if you have not checked it out yet.
I saw
They're
a few of them.
Yeah.
I've seen a few of them.
Yes, Superpowered Legends. They're available on one bookshelf and the Open Gaming Store. There's a ton of stuff coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Disaster Day, I think, is a really nice introductory adventure. It's intended for power level 10, 150-point beginning superhero characters. And the idea is a major disaster befalls the city, and for some reason, none of the other heroes are around to fix it or help clean up or take control of all the crime that's happening afterwards.
So you're talking kind of like end of Bloodhaven, kind of No Man's Land, or beginning of Civil War style thing?
Kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah, cool. I dig that.
For the uninitiated, power level 10 is roughly close to like where the X-Men would be in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the major heroes like the of the Superpowered Legends universe, the Sentinels, your friendly city burrow arachnid, the recluse, he's not around, so criminals are starting to go nuts after the disaster, and you find out that all the prisons have suffered severe damage. So the prisoners are literally just walking out the giant holes in the walls. So and things are coming up from the fissures in the ground, dinosaur monsters and mole people. So it is just one thing after another.
Never a dull moment.
It is a literal trial by fire adventure.
Nice.
For your characters to start. And I give a little thing at the beginning where characters get to shine as solo heroes, rescuing everyday people. You see a car collision, try to help people with that. You see a building on fire, try to help people with that. You see looting happening, try to help with that.
Nice.
These are all individual things, and then something happens that gets all the characters together, and that's when the adventure really takes off.
That's cool. I like that you give people a chance to shine. When I run games, I tend to try to give people a little intro kind of part of it, so it's like you'll end up, you give each person kind of a set piece to shine in. And because if not, you're just and then the mob formed and these story vomit.
Yep.
I'm a terrible GM because I like to provoke and entrap my players. So at this point, I've been playing this meta game with James Lewis for about 2 years now, and I've got him. And I hope he doesn't see this because it'll ruin a little bit. But he's paranoid. He's straight up paranoid whenever he's playing with me. I got him like right where I want him, because when he finally succeeds, it's gonna be this like epic moment in his life he's gonna tell people about forever.
I had these guys. This guy Dai Ben. Hi Dai Ben. I don't think you're watching this. Anyway, Dai Ben he's running this real like min max I know this system, I know the meta. Let's do this thing type of thing. Characters. So he's like, we're walking around town. I'm GMing. They're walking around town. I go, you see a guard watching you. He goes, really? Yeah. You see a guard watching you. Well, I try to lose him. You do so. Later on, you see another guard, and he's looking your direction. And so, after, just keep pointing out that the guards are watching them, after a long time, you know what happens? He walked up to the fucking guard and goes, "Why are you spying on us? Why are you watching us?" And he's just like, "You're carrying weapons in the marketplace, and we don't know who you are. Why do you think I'd be..."
Yeah.
Do you have a problem? Are you okay? Let me look at what you have in that pouch. What?
I'm doing my job, man.
Literally what I am paid to do on a daily basis.
That sounds like a yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Mike, what do you got going on?
Oh, did I mark one to talk about?
I don't know.
All right, I'm going to talk about what has ripped me away this week. So we had plans to do like a 5th edition version of basically the Book of Vile Darkness.
Yeah.
And we were going to do it in this like celestial fantasy world, and like we were talking to Game Publishing about it. And then they have decided to do some other stuff. They're like redoing the Zeitgeist Adventure Path for 5e, which is totally cool and makes a lot of sense because that thing's huge and awesome. So we're shopping around to other publishers, and we figured out like what wasn't really clicking for us is that like we didn't want to just do another like medieval fantasy world. So we're doing it as decopunk. So think like
Nice.
the rock. Oh wait.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
With, like, magic and no Nazis, or Sky Captain in the World Tomorrow with elves and dwarves.
Cool.
That's coming.
Sexy cars, I assume.
Is it what?
Sexy cars.
Yes, sexy cars, deco architecture everywhere, and like the idea is that the good guys have won. These celestial heroes, these 9 like epic 20th level characters have rid the world of evil and like cut a deal with the good gods that have given them this access to an energy that we're still not sure what to call. It's called good energy. That's our placeholder name.
Good.
And it like powers their cars and lights and shit.
Nice.
But the radiation it gives off extends the lifespan of good aligned creatures.
Cool.
And that's how they're like beating evil, and like evil's going to be rid of the world. And then you play evil characters that bring down society.
I love it. And then you're giant dicks in this wonderful setting. Everybody's a nice person, except for you. You kick puppies.
Well, you're fundamentally flawed. There's like something wrong with your soul. So
Yeah.
when you're going through character creation, you get 2 scores, new ones called Sanctity, which is how holy you appear to be, and then Sin, which is how unholy you actually are.
Nice.
And depending on what inherent heresy you choose, is like anger, pride, envy, greed, gluttony, sloth. You know, classic 7 deadly sins. Your Sanctity, your Sin score will be lower or higher, and then you can use your Sanctity score to trick good energy items into working for you, thinking that you are a good creature. Or you can spend your Sin points from your Sin score to like pervert it. So, for instance, in the for the Kickstarter, we're gonna have like a free adventure as one of the promos. The guards all have good energy guns, and in the hands of a good creature, it does like 1d10 bludgeoning damage. In the hands of a neutral creature, it does like much less damage, and it's hard to use. In the hands of an evil creature, you can like pervert it so it does way more force damage, and then after a minute, explodes.
Nice.
So, like, I envision players just like taking out patrols just to get their hands on the guns and then like charging them like grenades. So I don't know. We started doing work for that. I figured out what the character sheet's gonna look like, and like I finally figured how to do the graphic logo. It's really cool. It's very gold and it's a decopunk kind of like font, but like it's the Book of Exalted, and that's all gold. And then Darkness is like gold with fire coming up from it.
Cool.
So, yeah. And then Indy's doing like one piece where it's like a good lady and like Art Deco, and it's all beautiful and like very gold heavy. And then one evil piece where it's like this bitch covered in spiked armor and blood and like chains, and like all the buildings around her are on fire and stuff is exploding. Yeah. I don't know. It's killing
That's
me too,
sexy.
'cause, like I have stuff I need to do, but like as soon as I start to get into one of these projects, I slide in like a meth fiend in a mud pit. It sucks.
I know what you mean, man.
Yeah.
There's time, like, last week I was working on something, and my editor Ian goes, "Hey, you got to work on this." And I'm like, "But I'm chasing this dragon over here, man. I'm gonna put like 10 pages. Come on."
And I will point out that I do have, this is like a DAF thing, and so I have some oversight, and they talked me out of killing kids for the adventure. You kill teenagers now.
Okay,
Originally,
fine.
It's like 8-year-olds, and they were like,
No,
Mike was like,
teenagers.
I have-
Teenagers is fine.
Yeah, that's
Mike was like,
PG-13.
I have a 6-year-old. This makes me feel kind of bad. You can kill teenagers though, and I was like, all right, well.
Sorry, my dog is seeking attention. Yeah, so I got
Teenagers are monsters. They deserve it.
Yep.
They're Azamar teenagers too, so you know they're douches. You just know it.
All right, so I got a few things on my plate. I haven't talked about Free Wars ever, have I? I'll skip that.
No, I don't think so.
I guess I'll talk about Free Wars. So we're doing an expansion for it, so I'll talk about that. But so way back, you know, like how what is it? Not Fantasy Flight. You know how everyone's getting butthurt about people reproducing 40K miniatures on like 3D printing sites?
Yeah, I mean, like that's a huge problem for them.
Yeah.
That's their whole. That's why they're extending their IP to all kinds of different others.
Oh yeah. So I didn't like that. I was like, yeah, I get that that's their IP and it totally is, but then they started going to like stuff on we can only use this. You have to be this percent bought, this percent made, and it's like, let people play the fucking game, man. So we came up with a system called Free Wars. Free Wars is a super simple, actually free, public domain, or actually Creative Commons, so effectively, war game system. And we put out one called a sample game called Pioneer for it. The system doesn't make much sense unless you have Pioneer. So, but I started getting into a lot of Japanese historical combat stuff, and so we're gonna put out something for that. I already got some really bizarre things coming up. The idea is that each setting for the game takes the really simple core rules and like twists it sort of and does something completely different. Like one of my designers right now is working on a single player version for it, so everyone kind of plays like a D&D party instead of a normal war game setup. So the idea is it's supposed to be super simple and modular. You can just like that's the Nintendo. Here's the game being plugged in.
Yeah.
So I get to play with ninjas and Ronin, and I'm sure you're familiar with those things in some fashion, Mike. And not that you've ever looked up any of that. But yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun with some historical Japanese stuff. Normally you start off with a big squad size, and you can add auxiliaries. This one you start off your base units are all one samurai or one other leadership unit, and then you have the auxiliary in like Ashigaru and stuff. I don't know. It's pretty cool. So you have one like focus, and it grows out from there. But this week, let's see, we're putting out actually tomorrow we're putting out Stray Spells, because Highlander as the epitome of the personification of spells, but they can Highlander each other. So
okay,
with lots of
we have
a racial class too called the Stray King. That's the one with.
So what you're saying is to play this game, you're going to have to invest in the Rising Sun Kickstarter.
We're talking about that later.
Yes. That's
No, you don't have to, but I will plug that shit all day. It looks like a lot of fun. Plus, it's Cool Mini or Not. I love Cool Mini or Not. I think all the minis are cool. I just keep pressing like. That's how you do that site, right? And I look at the stuff I've painted, and I'm like, don't look at this.
Yeah, I have never even tried to paint a mini. I just don't have the patience.
I've painted entire armies, but they look like shit. Jacob, I wish I put as much time into it as you did, because they'd be a lot more pretty if I did it that way.
Well, those miniatures that I just painted last week, I did all those in like 3 hours.
Oh, you suck.
But
you suck.
The key to doing miniatures that way is to grab as many figures as are going to be painted the same way as you can. So just do a whole bunch of skeletons all at once, or a whole bunch of zombies all at once. Whatever it is, make sure they're going to be using the same colors, and then just go down factory paint them.
Let's say I don't know if I have the dexterity for it, man. My dex is a little low in regards to painting. I have the brushes that are trimmed down to like 2 freaking like hairs. I'm like, but I haven't had a chance to paint in like at least 2 years, and I'm way out of practice on it. My shit never looked good anyway. Oh, I got a cool mini though.
What is your favorite new project that is not yours, Jacob?
Okay, that is not mine. Well, today, Wright Publishing just released a new product for their In the Company Of series,
Which is pick what I was going to pick. You son
which is an expanded version of the gelatinous cube.
God damn it, Jacob!
Where you can play a gelatinous cube. Now, I know several people who would be like, "What the hell?" And I know a whole bunch of people who are like, "Yes, I want to play that."
You know what the first thing that comes to my mind is? Those unfortunately super pornographic like ooze girls or whatever. And I'm like,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't, Mike. I'm sure you don't.
Mike, ooze girls is a total thing.
And so we read this thing called Resimar once, which are basically they're ooze girls, but I was like, I don't want to make it. not. I promise.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna jump on Jacob's and double recommend that you get in the company of expanded oozes, because yeah, I'm all about plain oozes, man.
And anytime Right Publishing releases in the company of product, I am on it. I love those.
In the Varanthia Codex book, we were gonna do play as a monster stuff, and then we thought about it, and we were like, you know what? Right Company they're doing so much better at this than we are. Like, let's just tell people to go there.
Yeah, all you have to do is just look at what some other people are doing, and they're probably doing it already.
But say we at one point,
I read them and he did it well too. Like they're solid.
We way back when we were talking about doing a psychic book, and then we're like, well, there's this book called Psionics Unleashed or whatever that came out, and I don't think I can touch that now. So we started citing their stuff. We actually have some of the, we actually cited some of their stuff. We had that Half-Breed and Hybrids book, and we actually had
I put their compatibility logo on some of my stuff whenever I'm using it. Forever Dark has it, and Varanthia Codex has it. Yeah.
Our Half-Breeds and Hybrid books has that too.
Yeah. All right. Well, what's your favorite project that's not yours, Scott? Since
I'll talk about that in the Kickstarter. How's that?
Okay. All right.
That was a really easy section to get through.
All right. Okay. Oh, now we're getting to news. Pathfinder news.
Yeah, so you have the document up. I do not. So
I do. Okay. So first off, the Starfinder cover has been revealed.
And it is sexy.
It is pretty nice. Can you do a screen share of it, Scott?
Not right now. Not with all the stuff that's running.
Okay.
I was actually pretty surprised that for this pretty much the first time they're releasing a major book that doesn't have a Wayne Reynolds cover on it.
There we go.
Yeah, well, I mean, that makes a lot of sense if you're, oh god, what's her name? I sat and had dinner with her.
There we go.
Sonia, their art director lady. I'm sure she was like, we're doing 2 different lines. We probably shouldn't be using the same cover artist for both lines if we want them to be differentiated in the market.
Yeah, that certainly makes sense.
Yeah.
But I got that image up.
Different styles.
Definitely. And I love how you have everything from the craziness on the bottom to the more traditional on the left, and then just the complete sci-fi on the right. You know what I mean? And it shows it
on the bottom is just
he's amazing. And you can see all the stuff. It basically just spells out what this is in a nutshell on the cover. You see lots of melee weapons. You see lots of absurd stuff. You see ships in the backgrounds.
Yeah. No, it's a solid cover. It
is. I like it. I like the tiger.
And that's with the third basically Starfinder cover they've released now, right? Because there's the one teaser, and then I know there was another one that we thought was going to be the cover, I think, and then this is the actual cover.
The actual cover.
I think this is only the second one. The other one they showed was supposed to be for an adventure they're going to be released on Free RPG Day.
That's the one with the goblins on it, right?
Yeah, the one with goblins on it.
No, there's another one. I might be thinking of the
here.
teaser one. Before they had anything, people were just like, is this the Starfinder cover? But there was definitely another one that wasn't the one that is the cover now and does not have goblins on it.
That just makes it worse, though.
That's true. Everyone loves space goblins. Let me see. Other Paizo news. Let's stick to Paizo news for now. There's been more Starfinder art reveals for starships and for races.
Mm-hmm.
Go check out enworld.com, and you'll see some shots. I think they were taken at GAMA.
Mm-hmm.
They're on a projector screen, so I assume they were taken at GAMA.
Yeah, we showed that last week, I think. The ship one. Yeah, the ship one.
Okay. All right. Did we talk about the Book of the Damned last week?
I remember. Let's talk about it and then see what happens. By the way, does anyone have chat up? I do not.
I do.
Okay, cool.
The Book of the Damned was announced by Paizo. It's all of their previously printed demon, and devil lore, plus 100 pages of new stuff, and I'm sure will be awesome. It might be one that I have to pick up because I do like to use very powerful demon devils frequently.
Yeah, this is going to make my coloring book obsolete.
Oh.
Or
coloring book can go beyond Pathfinder.
Let's say, or you could synergize, man.
You know what you got to be doing with that coloring book? You got to get yourself 50 copies and then just go around to weird stores. You know what I'm saying? Like roadside sell touristy stuff and other weird
the head shop down the street
shops too, just weird places that are out of the way where you would get knickknacks and stuff, and I bet you will get those shopkeepers to pick them up.
I live in the middle of the Bible Belt, man.
Even better, yes!
No shops around here are going to buy the 9 Hells adult coloring book.
So you're saying you want? So you're saying you want to drop it off at like the general store? Make sure you are well seen.
There are cult and esoteric stores out there. I know it. I know it. I'm not saying it's a huge market. I'm just saying that's what I would be doing.
Yeah.
How to get lynched in 3 easy steps.
Oh, he's not gonna get lynched. The TRAILSeeker Patreon has hit its 100th article.
Jesus, man.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I have not written, unlike E-Insider, I have not written like 20% of their articles. I did write the 100th article, though. It's really cool.
Oh, cool.
It's called The Fugitive Scholar. It started as a Facebook comment. Because, like, Owen said something about, like, writing stuff that, like, you know, he never gets to finish. And I just had this thing sitting on my phone where I was, like, bored at a bar and wrote, like, about a scholar at a bar that had just beaten everyone unconscious and was covered in blood when somebody walked in and was like, I'm a scholar. So that's how the adventure opens. It's cool.
Nice.
Check them out. If you like Patreons, TRAILSeeker is definitely a good one to follow. All the EN World Patreons pretty solid.
Yep, pretty solid.
Jacob, Scott, you got any other Paizo, Pathfinder, Starfinder news?
No, you covered most of the stuff I've been looking at. Can I just say I still like that rat.
Yeah.
Besides the art reveal, they had the miniatures reveal recently.
Yeah? I missed that.
I forgot about the miniatures. Yeah, tell us about the miniatures, Jacob.
Unfortunately, I have forgotten who's releasing those. They are not doing WizKids.
Yeah, I remember this.
Because WizKids is doing the Pathfinder line, but they're going with a completely different company for the Starfinder line. And not only are they doing the heroes and monsters and all that, but they're also doing starships for the Starship Company.
Oh, that's cool.
And so yeah, we got to see some.
That's why we didn't remember. It's Ninja Division are the people doing the miniatures.
Oh yeah.
That would be why.
They're Ninja Division, who are a part of Cool Mini or Not.
Hey, I think we're getting closer to that thing, Jacob. Let's just keep edging it that way.
But yeah, Ninja Division, I love their figures. They have some really cool games, and they are very miniature intensive, and they're one of the few groups that I personally love because they do chibi figures. It's pretty much them and Impact Miniatures, big chibi figures. And if you want little kid friendly miniatures, then you want to go to those two companies. But yeah, they look great for Starfinder. I'm looking forward to it. And those ships, you get some interesting looking ships there.
Definitely cool. All right. All right. There's been a lot more going on with D&D 5e this last week. I would say. Let's just knock this one out. Goodman Games is reprinting old D&D modules.
Yep, that was pretty cool.
They've been looking for writers and editors and stuff for a while, so I imagine that they've already got like a little backlog, and that should be a pretty steady supply. WotC teased Planescape with this like Planetscape website. Beamdog, I think today, announced that they're releasing. I think it's out. An enhanced edition of the Planescape video game a la Baldur's Gate.
Torment. Yeah, Planescape Torment. They're releasing that.
Planescape Torment.
Yeah. I wish I liked that game format more, but the way that they had you control in 6 parts just sucked and drove me insane and up the wall. Oh god! And I want to play them too because like everyone's like, "Oh man, Icewind Dale's so cool," and like Minsk and Boo, but like I get after like 20 minutes, I just get frustrated playing the game. But everybody likes Planescape.
Mm-hmm. Except for you.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's just the user interface drives me nuts. I just couldn't deal with it. Gale Force 9 is printing translations of D&D 5e into other languages, although not in Brazil.
Yep, there's that whole spat about it, man.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
You can read in depth. There's like several articles on EN World, but basically, one company took credit took the contract to do all the translations when it was supposed to be several companies under the umbrella of one company. So I mean, I don't know. I imagine eventually that'll get resolved, but it sounds like it's just like one shyster.
One giant clusterfuck.
Yeah. Tales from the Yawning Portal is out. That's their next big adventure. I think it's several different adventures in one book.
Many ones, yeah.
It is beautiful. I just picked that up.
Oh yeah, you like it?
If you like classic classic D&D modules, but you want to run 5th edition, this is for you. It's got
Nice.
it's got a couple of really great adventures from old 3rd edition, like the Sunless Citadel and the Forgotten Forge. Then they have really old classics like the Tomb of Horrors and
definitely classic.
Giants. All three giant modules translated to 5th edition.
Sweet.
Yeah, I heard the Tomb of Horrors 5th edition was like good luck kind of deal, which sounds great.
Well, unlike the original Tomb of Horrors, where it's pretty much the GM actually just describes how horrible your death is, you actually get to make checks to see whether you fall into the pit or not.
Well, what's the fun in that? No, I'm kidding.
Survivability against vindictive DMs.
Well, I mean, if you have vindictive DM, your game's already over anyway.
Pretty much, yeah. But yeah, in general, Tales from the Yawning Portal is excellent, and especially with what Goodman Games is about to release.
Yep.
I think we're going to see a lot of really good classic nostalgia coming back. I'm
D&D milking the nostalgia brand? Never.
Oh, member berries. But yeah, I gotta say, Goodman Games starting out with the Keep on the Borderlands, just everyone's favorite module.
I think this is Chris Cox being smart and like seeing that, okay, well, a lot of the reasons the 5e is doing so well is it's nostalgic. Like, we are doing really good with these sales of classic modules on Drive-Thru RPG now, and that was probably the determining factor for Goodman Games there. They're like, we're going to test the waters with the old modules. People are still buying these old ones. Convert them. But, yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool. Last thing, on Unearthed Arcana this week, there's a trio of subclasses.
I got a thing for this, but go ahead, yeah?
The Drunken Master, there's a way cooler one that was popular on Reddit this week, and I linked to it on my blog. It'll post this Friday. It's way cooler than the one that they offer. I do not like the Drunken Master in the Unearthed Arcana supplement. Oath of Redemption seems like a throwback to various paths in the Book of Exalted Deeds, and I do like that.
Okay, here's what I don't like about that, though, okay? I was reading that text, and I went, oh, Redeemer. So, like, these are ones who started out evil and are kind of crawling back along that path.
I would just wash that away. I'd just be like, no, I'm the holy guy. That's what I've been doing the whole time.
I know, but I'm like, I read that, and I started reading the text. I'm like, that would have been a much cooler way of doing this. Come on! Have fun with this. Let us be evil and then come back and have pathos in our characters. Oh my god. Anyway, I don't know. The Drunken Master, like you said, had less to do with, like, Drunken Master and more had to do with eccentric fighter dude.
I know. I could see what they were doing.
I didn't like how they implemented it.
And getting extra attacks and stuff, but, like, yeah, it doesn't feel cool, honestly.
I'd say I think
functional.
I think as per that third-party Pathfinder base class list that I maintain.
Yeah.
I literally our company is published like 3 times more than anyone else's, man. I'll tell you right now. I know like 10 ways I would have done that differently. There's like 10 things I would have been like, all right, so hear me out here. Now you can do this cool thing where you're flat-footed and maybe you get higher AC, or like you get improvised bullshit and you like treat them as being proficient with them. You know what I mean? Like there's so much things I would have done that I'm like, missed opportunity with that. Oh, it hurt. It hurt, man.
I know. And like the D&D 3.5 Drunken Master was really cool.
It was fun, yeah.
You rank to get your key points, and you could breathe fire and stuff. Yep. It was like, I played 3 or 4 Drunken Masters, I think it was. And yeah, this one just falls flat for me. That's not about it. And then the last thing is the Monster Slayer, which seems cool. That's not how I was studying mechanics, but it works fine. And this is what I've been talking about with all this, my bitching about Unearthed Arcana. There's a little sidebar about how it functions with the extra attack that the Unearthed Arcana Ranger, as opposed to the regular Ranger. And that's the shit that they can do that none of us can do that drives me insane about it. Because now, if I were to release a Drunken Master class, it's going to be compared to this kind of shitty Drunken Master class from Unearthed Arcana, and for good or ill, people are going to give their build way more credence than my build.
Always.
Which
100%.
And I can't say or react to it in any way because it's not OGL.
Yep. It doesn't exist. What are you
Yeah.
talking about? It's not over here.
Yeah, exactly. What about you, Jacob? You got any 5e D&D news gems that we didn't get to?
Christina, I'm
No,
going to
we
talk
pretty much
without
covered
looking.
everything.
Like,
Stop.
it was a
Do
busy
not
week
do
for
that.
5e.
You're on the
Other
mic, love.
RPG business.
You're on the camera, love.
What's old is new is moving along pretty good. They got another new
Sorry, I don't want you to undress or
new
anything.
print book for Universal upgrades. So if you
Oh,
don't
it's
want to
my
wait for
backpack.
Starfinder,
Right there. Satchel.
there's lots of science fiction gaming over there. Tales of Equestria is out in April, so it's coming out.
Just
I think
grab the whole
on
bag,
week
love.
15. So if you are a Pony Finder player, there's a review over on tabletopgamingnews.com where they contrast Tales of Equestria to Pony Finder that I think was pretty good. Sue the T-Rex has been running a D&D game on Twitter. I think it's finally come to a close.
And that was fun.
Yep.
It was, yeah. So Sue the T-Rex skeleton is like a skeleton with a very savvy marketer in Chicago's Natural History Museum. And yeah, like through Twitter, she was running like a pool-based D&D game.
Nice.
And if you haven't checked it out yet, check it out. Just look Sue the T-Rex skeleton D&D. It'll come right up. And yeah, other media of interest. You know what we haven't talked about? Iron Fist. And I know that both of us have so much to say. Jacob, have you watched Iron Fist as well?
Yes, I have watched Iron Fist.
Okay. Lucas is gonna kill me for like going into the. All right, are we doing spoilers or are we doing not spoilers?
Let's make it very clear. There will be spoilers here.
All right, there will be spoilers. Oh my
I will
god!
also give you a little rundown. I'm a huge Iron Fist fan, man. Like I've got more than half of the original Power Man Iron Fist comic line.
Oh, I thought you were gonna rip off your shirt and be like, "Look, behold!"
Behold the dragon! No, although I have thought about it.
Nice.
It would require me staying in shape much longer than I'm willing to.
Yep.
So, yeah,
but So yeah, that is okay. Here's
where do we start?
okay. Here's where we'll start. We'll start saying, you know, if the rest of the Marvel universe did not exist, Iron Fist would be considered a pretty decent show. But we have this high bar to live up to, and let's say, I didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to, but I still enjoyed watching it. I mean, I wasn't like, no, let me pull my head away from it. No, I was just like, you know, it's what it is. They screwed the pooch. You know what they really needed to do? They needed to get someone who was a fucking like martial artist. Finn Jones, you're a cool dude, but like, you started doing some wushu like right the fuck beforehand.
I
And
agree with some of this.
yeah, I know you don't agree with it being entertaining, but
No, I thought it was entertaining.
go
I
ahead.
think we were spoiled by the sound of Luke Cage.
Oh, for fuck's sake,
Jessica
yeah,
Jones had
damn.
okay sound, and Daredevil had okay sound, but like Luke Cage's sound
Yup.
all of it was a masterpiece. And the guy who did the sound for Iron Fist just did a horrible job.
I was like
like
3 episodes in, and I was sitting there going,
Why
What?
does this sound like a sci-fi movie?
well, no, I was like, what
what-
vibe are they going for? I kind of got it near the end. They were
Felt
trying to.
confused.
Yeah,
felt
I couldn't. Their aesthetic cohesion was all like there was no cohesion. It was just everywhere. I think I figured out what they were trying to sort of invoke. You ever see The Last Dragon? Like one of the greatest movies ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure enough. I think they were trying to go for like a cheesy like '80s like kung fu movie that didn't take itself too seriously. But then they get the Meachums involved, and you're like, yeah, 70% of the fucking plot was like the Meachums.
Villain in a can.
And here's the thing,
Yeah,
though.
that's terrible.
They were the best actors on the show. They were by far the best actors, but their plot line was fucking terrible, and the writing was like, as you said, villain in a can.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say they were the best actors, man. Like
I would have to say Colleen. I would have to say Colleen
Colleen was
Wing.
good. Yeah, Colleen.
And Rosario Dawson.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Rosario Dawson does
we
not.
just have
Claire does not
Rosario
count because she's good in
Dawson?
everything.
Can we
She's
just have
the band-aid
Rosario
that's covering this all up.
Let's just screw all these other
Here's
things.
something-
Night Nurse. That's it.
Here is something that I'm afraid they're going to do.
What?
I am afraid they are going to Coulson her.
Oh
In
yeah.
that, in that she's the wraparound character for all these characters, and when the Defenders happen, they're going to kill her, and that is going to piss me off.
I don't know
She's
if
she's the most fun part of like the Netflix series, and that's saying something with Luke Cage and Jessica Jones in the mix, and Charlie Cox somewhere doing Charlie Cox things. Charlie Cox, by the way, is always the least interesting actor in his own show, and I think that's funny because like I find myself watching like Foggy Nelson way more than I care about like I'm like, oh yeah, Daredevil beat someone up. Let's go see what Foggy's doing because he's much.
It's kind of what Matt Murdock is like. Matt Murdock is a good lawyer and he's very smart, but he's not like actually a charismatic guy at any point. Like,
no, I totally get that.
You've been like, okay, yeah, obviously Matt Murdock has a charisma of 19. He never comes off that way. He comes off as like, I have a charisma of 11, but an intelligence of 21, and also, bam!
Yeah. Also, I punched you in the face, and now you have an intelligence of 2.
Yes, exactly.
The thing is, Matt Murdock is a terrible character and a terrible lawyer. He only takes cases of people he knows are innocent because he can listen, he can hear their heartbeat to tell whether they're lying or not, and he uses his superpowers to tell whether people on the stand are lying or not. You know, he doesn't use facts.
But those aren't important. This is the U.S. legal system. Who uses facts?
I want to say on the Coulson thing that narratively that is a valid fear, but from like the production standpoint, I don't think the guy who plays Lieutenant Coulson has ever had the kind of pull that Rosario Dawson has.
No.
And if her agent heard an inkling of her character being killed off in like the MCU, he would lose his shit and take it, and like a whole PR firm would turn on Netflix.
Except you are forgetting that Hollywood is way more sexist than that.
That's true. That's
and she's a minority, so I mean the best. Kirk, sorry, my dog is asking me to throw this wonderful bone for him 100 times. Christina, can you grab his bone, please? Call the dog.
But yeah, man. Like
yeah.
I hadn't even thought of that because like the chance of like somebody like firing. I can't even imagine firing Rosario Dawson. Like I just can't. Like the thought of it. Like
no, she's way too high quality an actress to do that.
Yeah,
but that is my fear. Like I said, that's just my fear. I'm with the quality of writing of the Netflix shows, I'm really hoping they don't go that route. But that is my fear that they are going to go that.
All right, so I got a thing. I got a thing that really bothers me. So I'm like an aficionado of all this shit. I actually am one of the few people who still really enjoys Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Everyone's always like, oh, it's losing its edge. I'm like, yeah, it lost its edge. It's still more entertaining than most things on TV.
What edge? When did it have an edge?
I enjoyed the shit out of it.
Object.
I fucking love it. I fucking love that you can watch them throw obscure characters into the mix and just have a team of quasi-superheroes and axe shotguns. I don't know. But, so here's the thing that's pissed me off. So, we don't have any... We have the greatest franchise built ever in history. We have a tentpole series with all these movies, and we have the Netflix series, and we have the... Kirk, really, my dog's running back and forth. And we have the Hulu stuff coming out. Yes, we're having, what do you call them? The Runaways, one of my favorite comics of all time. It's going to be amazing.
Yep. Oh, that should be good, yeah.
Oh, also, the staff of one showed up in
back to topic.
Yeah, anyway. So anyway, the fact that they're not interacting at all. You know what I mean? The fact that they just flat ignore, like, everything. And it's like, I'm not asking for, like, you know, frickin' Coulson to be on the screen like, hey, Cap, high five. I want them to be like, man, we need a team to evac these civilians from over here. And then you cut to, like, a 10-second clip of, like, Agent May helping someone on a fucking plane. That's all I'm asking to have them, like, exist, you know? Yeah. Or, like, they have the ATCU, and they're, like, in the Civil War movie, they're like, we need a government response team that can actually, like, respond to metahuman threats and deal with it. I'm like, ATCU, you literally just made that 2 months ago in the show. Or 6 months, but whatever, you know? But Iron Fist, yeah, I give it a 6 out of 10.
Colleen Wing, I like the Colleen Wing actress. I actually vastly prefer Colleen Wing from the comics because she's, like, I feel she's an iconic 70s character.
Yeah, but she's 70s, and they're not doing a 70s series.
I know, but, like, she literally looks like Donna from that 70s show.
Yep.
And that was before Donna from that 70s show was even a thing, by the way.
So Donna looks like her?
Yeah. And, like, she's this big, badass redhead with a katana, and, like, there was just something about that, like, really clicked with...
That got your gears going?
This junction of Iron Fist and the rest of the...
Yeah.
Like, slightly bizarre view of the world that comic encapsulated. So,
You know,
like using her to like have the Asian lady, that kind of that.
I'm not touching
that's
that with a 50-foot pole. I didn't have a problem with it. Everyone else did. So Iron Fist is best when it's remembering like it's supposed to be a crazy kung fu movie set in like modern day. Like when there's the scene when like Colleen is running with a katana on her back down the street, and Danny's running down the street all like badass, shirt open, the dragon tattoo, and he's shoeless running down the street. I'm like, I enjoy this. This is what I enjoy. And then, big spoiler at the end, they're like, we don't have a budget for anything more than like 2 scenes in Kunlun. We better remove Kunlun for a while. And I'm like, when you're doing the crazy monk shit, you're fun. You're really fun. But when you're not, oh my god. Go back to the Meachums. Yeah, let me
get on the main actor for a hot second.
Yeah, anyway, yeah.
What the fuck? Why does he still have a perm? Like, why? Why eat my hand? It drives me nuts. Like, because that's just such a stupid fucking decision and so easy to fix and would have fit with, like, I've never seen Danny Rand with a perm. And this is a comic that came out in the 70s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it's important that he did not have a perm like every fucking other person in the 70s. So
Cap had a perm for a while.
Drives me nuts. Oh. Anyway, yeah. And then like I felt like he watched the Kung Fu show from the 70s, and he was like, I'm going to be David Carradine. And that just fell flat for a performance. Like, it just wasn't fitting in with everything else. If it had been a Western, which is what the Kung Fu show was, it would have played much better.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't a Western. It was like a modern action drama set in an urban area.
You know what I thought? Okay.
As far from a Western as you can get.
Think back to like the grand tournament they had with the chick, the tarantula chick, and she's actually Bride of Nine Spiders.
Why that one? There's so many cool.
I know.
All the other
So
weapons
think of this, okay? They wanted to pull off like a cheesy '80s, like Big Trouble in Little Chinatown, whatever thing.
Yeah, that actually played okay.
They wanted to play that up, but you know what it ended up looking like? That whole thing. I'm like, oh my god, this is a bad '90s action movie. Think of that meeting like the Blood Rain movie or something. You know what I mean?
Could have cut that in with the like the Foot Clan.
Yes, exactly.
Turtles movies.
But it's like that pleather, like underworld, like that, like kind of pleathery black leather, like everyone fights in a corset and have like
feet hanging down for no reason, and a fence inside of this room again for no reason. Yeah.
Anyway, so
it was okay. Watch it, but yeah,
I think he'll play nice with everyone else. I really hope they don't get a second season for that. Put him as a supporting,
because like most of this was set up, and
I don't. Like, they're not gonna fucking do anything with it, man.
All the other immortal weapons are so much cooler.
Well, here's what I hope. I hope they make him a supporting character in Iron Fist. I mean, oh my god, in Luke Cage. I hope they just have fucking Heroes for Hire and just have him be like the like completely like lol what kind of like naive badass.
Even instead of a second Luke Cage, it's just like here's Power Man and Iron Fist now.
Yeah, I would watch shit out of that.
Sequel for both.
All right, I think we've been on Iron Fist for about as long as we've been on everything else. So
yeah.
Well, if I can just say something last bit here, Iron Fist was never a good character on his own. Never.
Yeah, Mike, I'm gonna agree with him, man. He comes in with power.
He became a good character when he joined with Luke Cage.
I'll say he became much more interesting.
Iron Fist comic,
initially,
the solo Iron Fist comic sucked.
Okay. All right, yeah.
It was your standard martial arts revenge plot, and his major villain in that was the epitome of clone characters, because he had all the same powers, all the same skills, the Steel Serpent, and he had the same costume, just different colors.
It's purple. He's purple and black.
So the Iron Fist was a terrible solo character, and that pretty much rings true with the series itself. When he joins up with Power Man, with Luke Cage, I would love to see that.
Yeah, they were really good foils for one another, and yeah, like I said, I have half the run upstairs. It's amazing.
That reminds me of the run they did with Green Arrow and Green Lantern.
Oh yeah, all those are good.
Yeah, let's say once you get like that proper foil, like that dichotomy, that real good like back and forth. If you can get two good characters together, I don't care if they're shitty characters solo, they become their own things. I mean, like in that one, it was basically conservative and liberal, just like going like the comic. Oh yeah, and there's some superhero shit over here, but like it was interesting.
And I wanted to add that while initially Iron Fist may not have been able to hold his own very well, lately Iron Fist comic titles have been dope as fuck.
Well, that's because he's finally gotten away from the American Ninja roots that
the Kung Fu exploitation stuff?
Like the history of Iron Fist. So there's previous Iron Fist, and he like runs into one of them who has been like a drug addict for 50 fucking years. It's like, yeah.
Have you guys seen the YouTube video, which is about the Defenders meeting each other for the same time? It's this little comedy bit they do.
No.
And they're talking about their origins. They're like, "Hi, I'm Daredevil."
Oh yeah, I have seen that.
Hi, I'm Luke Cage, and I think I got my powers from this experiment prison, which might have involved some toxic waste. Hi, I'm Jessica Jones. I think I got my powers from toxic waste too. And yeah, I'm Danny Rand. I'm the Iron Fist. I know Kung Fu, and I got my powers from when I punched
a dragon.
Wait, what?
I remember that. It was great. Everyone's just like, but I mean, when you think of it, like. The best part about him is, I always thought was like, okay, so everyone else is like a street level hero, you know what I mean? And he's totally set up to be like that street level like hero, like a la Batman, a la like that whole thing. And then you're like, oh, by the way, Kung Fu bullshit. And you're like, what do you mean? Oh yeah, totally can heal myself. Just let me meditate here for 10 minutes. And you're like, really? Yeah, man, don't worry about it. I got the chi, I got all this shit. And they're like, yeah, let me take out my Bruce Lee shit here. And they're like, we have guns, you know. And he's like, I don't fucking care. Let me just use my magic fist and, you know. And that was half the fun of it, man.
All right. Okay, so Kickstarters. Occult 7 is still going on.
Yep.
Bloodlines of Black Magic. It's like I've been saying Buffy the Vampire Slayer for Pathfinder. I still feel like that's not inaccurate to say.
Supernatural.
They are just $608 from funding with 15 days left, so they are.
So you lazy bastards, we get close to this mic. You lazy bastards, donate. You cheap assholes. There we go.
Don't say that to people.
Okay, you are all sweet, wonderful people, and I love you. Now go donate.
Oh, now you're patronizing them. Don't do that either. But it's neat, and yeah, check them out. I feel like there is some kind of free thing somewhere on here. I believe so. But yeah, it's very cool, very occult, very very dark. If you like supernatural, if you like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, if you like modern occult horror, it is totally for you.
Yep.
Now you guys can talk about the thing you've been alluding to this
Hey Jacob, why don't you take it away, buddy?
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
No, you don't know anything?
Something about a rising sun?
Yeah, I hear the sun's rising tomorrow morning. I guess we're going to skip it. No, Rising Sun is a kind of cool tabletop miniature... what phrase would you describe it? I think like tabletop game is a good way to describe it. It's not like an RPG as much. It's much more like...
It looks like a board game that utilizes miniatures.
Yeah.
But it's not a miniature combat game.
No. It kind of reminds me a bit of like the political side of like L5R. So you have like a bunch of like deities coming down because everyone's like, stop worshipping the gods. And like, dude, what the hell? And now they're coming down and you're part of one of the clans and you're trying to like do political intrigue and move things around. And, I don't know, it's really cool. I'm a sucker for that shit, so...
All right.
And honestly,
looking at the miniatures, they do look very impressive.
Oh, they're...
If you just want to add a collection of Asian-themed miniatures to your
gorgeous
your line at home,
Asian-themed miniatures, yes.
You're $100, you get more than it's worth.
Yep. Whether it's a cool mini or not, and they have some really cool stuff because, hey, it's in their name. They have cool minis, I promise. Yeah, just go check that out. I don't even know where they are. They have to be funded, aren't they? They're like 1,000.
Like
yeah, they're like a bazillion percent funded.
They only need like 100,000, and they've got like over 3 million.
Yeah.
So yes, go add your money to their pile of money. It'll be worth it, actually.
Yeah, it definitely looks cool. If I was more of a miniature guy, I would go for that. But I think I have maybe 5 miniatures left in my name. One of which is Old Man.
So I gotta say, I'm not sure if I should plug Hero Forge, but I actually got a straight up like one done at one point. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh yeah, that's what Old Man is, a Hero Forge one.
Yeah, he's a dude in a suit with a shield and sword. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, mine's a guy in a bathrobe with like bunny things, like slippers, and like a dragon on one arm and a flag in one hand. And
I made him as per myself when I started my MBA. I was like, I'm gonna wear a suit and go to war with this on, you know. So
I was torn. I was like, because I was gonna get Boris, which is the character Jacob illustrated on the front of the Varanthia Codex. And, like, it was my first Pathfinder character, and like I had like 5 or 6 different designs, and I was like, which one of these am I actually gonna play at a table? And I was like, oh,
yeah,
old man. So, yeah, Hero Forge is really cool too.
Oh yeah, if you guys don't know what that is, HeroForge.com, and it's just basically you can make your own mini out of like a bunch of parts and a bunch of different materials. It's really cool.
Hundreds, if not thousands, of different options.
Oh yeah, and when I got it, had even less than that. But yeah, man, it's cool. I got that when they first started, I think. Or
yeah, I got
few
mine
months in.
this last Christmas because my mom got me like a gift certificate.
Aw, that's cool.
Yeah, it was a good gift. I'm a real pain in the ass to buy gifts for. She really nailed it that time. All right, since you guys wanted to talk about Patreons last time, we will talk about Patreons in addition to Kickstarters. Jacob here has an awesome Patreon.
Jacob, you want to plug that?
Patreon a little bit.
Well, what I'm doing with my Patreon is I'm previewing various art projects that I'm working on. People who sign up to my Patreon, you only need $1. That's they collect $1 a month from you. That's $12 over the course of 1 year.
What?
And you'll get to see
So expensive.
all the art that I. Oh yeah. And you get to see all the art that I produce on my Patreon. Basically, what I do is you get to see, usually a couple of months in advance, the characters that I'm working on for Superpowered Legends, the comic pages that I'm doing for the Path Less Traveled, which is produced for the Pathways e-zine by Wright Publishing.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, issue 64 just came out today.
That's true. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Pathways is cool. It's free.
And
Pathways.
Indeed.
I've written
And
for that.
I occasionally post some of the adult work that I do, because it's the one place
Movies?
where I can post that sort of thing, because most art sites don't allow it. So basically right now, any of the adult work that I'm doing for the Book of Passion, which the Kickstarter for that just finished last month,
we were talking about that.
I am posting there.
Cool.
So you get to see that. So you get to see that work before the book comes out, which I believe is in August.
So I gotta tell you, dude. So I'll talk to you about this later, but so I don't know if you know. I'm gonna give a shameless plug here. I run a site called Indie Comic Review. Kirk, go away, buddy. We literally review 100 plus independent comics. And I'm not talking like Zenoscope. I'm talking like, hey, I drew something in my basement. And I put it on Drive Through Comics. I thought that was a good idea. Dude, you should hit up some of those guys. They got cool characters, I'll tell you what. Fit right in, I'll hook you up, man.
Yeah, send me a link to that, and I'll check that out.
All right.
Anyway, I don't have any Patreons to plug. I'll replug G Shields is fun. I just saw some of his recent stuff.
We did artists last time. Let's do.
I don't
writers.
have any. I follow artists.
I have a list of writers.
I know. I saw your list of writers.
Okay, well, we did artists last time.
So yeah, do your thing. I'm gonna say I don't have anyone special.
The writer I'm going to plug is Matt Vansel.
Oh, then
Who Matt Vansel is he is the writer for Dead Gentleman Productions and Orpheus Entertainment. These are the guys who put out things like the Gamers movies and and Journey Quest and Demon Hunters. Matt Vansel is the main writer for all of those series. He has a Patreon, which is currently going. He also has a Kickstarter going on for a novel he is releasing called Hop Jockey, which combines all of those universes together.
Oh, that's really cool.
11 days to go with 4,700 more to fund, so he's probably going to make it too.
It's my guess.
Yeah, unfortunately, what happens with Matt's work is it looks like it's not going to fund, and then at the very last minute, all of his fans come in and just blast him with money.
I'll tell you right now, from running a few Kickstarters, that's how it often works. You get the first few days, for maybe a week or two, you get this huge big boom. Oh, there's my corgi back there. Hi, Kirk. What's up, buddy? And then in the middle, it goes boom, it takes off, and then it kind of plateaus for the middle of it, and then and you might even dip a little bit, and you're like, oh my god, I'm not going to fund. Last week or two of the Kickstarter, because it gets kicked to the main page, especially if you're doing well, like it just goes right through. Like we've had products that were like 75% funded, and then suddenly jumped like well past funded in like a few days. Most people are just seeing if it pans out too.
Yeah, all mine end up being these terrible nail biter scenarios until the final day. It drives me nuts.
I remember talking to you on one of those days.
Yes, it is. And like it's always like that. And every time I'm like, you know what, this time it's not going to be like that, guys. And then like a week passes, and I'm like, guys, it's this again.
Fucking seriously, guys, come on.
But
Varanthia was a squeaker.
It was. Varanthia was a squeaker. Hypercore is the only one where we came in and we coasted. We had like a couple of days of funded before the end of the game.
Let's see.
Everyone else has been
Necropunk was an easy. We got that a good week or two before it was due. DTO was funded well. Our last one wasn't as well funded, but that wasn't as big of a book. Gonzo 2. We made it because we had one patron who just was like, "Here's $500. I love you. You know who you are." And they literally like saved us. And after that, people just kept putting more money, and they're like, "Oh, it's already done." Like once you get past that threshold of done and funded, everyone else is like, "Oh, it's a sure thing. I'll put some money in."
Confidence level rises, and everybody pledges. Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally by the last 3, I think like the last like we got it like 2 days before it ended, and then all of a sudden we went from like we've been like going between 75 and 100%, and then by the end of it, hi Kirk, what are you doing back there?
All right, so
yeah.
Let's get back to it. Writer Patreons. We all know Clinton J. Boomer. If you do not know Clinton J. Boomer, you probably know him by proxy because he's written many things.
If you don't
They're
know
all
him,
brilliant.
culture yourself.
Clinton is great. He was my favorite person of 2015, and I think probably 2016 too, because he's that cool. So check out Clinton's stuff. He's also got a free Tumblr, which is huge. It's like 80 pages of Pathfinder content.
Yeah, go to Tumblr and look up the Boomer Kid.
Yep.
And you get to see all his Pathfinder insane feats.
He's got a thing similar to my. I'm doing like a Marvel series on my blog.
Mm-hmm.
He's got something a lot like that too. He's got a couple builds up there. He's got a Nightcrawler, a Ghost Rider, a couple of other things here and there. But it's mostly feats and player stuff. Another good Patreon to talk about is Owen Stevens.
Yeah, dude, and his mini feats are great. His micro feats.
Oh, Owen's micro feats? Yeah, Owen
Yep.
releases a ton of free stuff all the time, like all day. Basically, he releases 4 or 5 different things that are just like free little feats or spells or this or that. Owen's great. Jacob has known Owen for a long time. Not longer than me, actually. Anything you want to say about Owen's awesome Patreon, Jacob?
Support it.
Yeah, really do.
Yeah.
Just if even all you have is $1 to support it. He's a great guy. You're gonna get some amazing free game material. Well, with $1 every month, but you're gonna get some awesome game material. You're gonna get some great stories because oh my god, Owen is a storyteller like you can't imagine.
And there's an option on here for like $200 a month for like hanging out with him for an hour. When I started game design stuff, I paid him $100 to have like lunch with us.
Yep.
And just that like picking his brain for an hour was unbelievably useful for me. So if you are a professional game designer and you really want to get to know some stuff about the ins and outs of the industry and like good practices, that $200. You will not regret spending that $200 at all. You'll make it back.
And you know what, though? There's something to be said about the fact that we did plug... The first thing when you said, oh, Patreons, you were like, oh, yeah, artists were the first thing that come to mind. Writers need love, too, man. We really do. Yeah. Believe it or not, we don't just love putting other people's stuff out and paying people to make... Like Jacob to make very pretty stuff to describe our awesome stuff, but... yes, my dog is being very grumpy next to me.
Writing is art, too.
It is, and people sometimes forget it.
Speaking of Patreons that people write for, I write for EA Insider all the time. If you like D&D 5e and you want to get regular, excellent, curated, illustrated content, their Patreon is over here. It's called EA Insider.
Yep, it's a good one.
Great. I write a lot of stuff for there. They're actually doing a Kickstarter in April that we'll talk about because 3 of the classes in the book are mine.
Nice.
Out of like 7 or 6 classes. Yeah, so I have a lot of
It's been a while
things
since
to
I've
talk
got
about.
to work with them. I liked working with them, but it's been a while since I've spoken with them.
Poke Michael McCarthy, man.
He was just on last week.
Yeah,
I
well,
will
he's
do
their
that.
art director because, a while ago, Russ was looking for one. I was like, oh, use Mike. So, yeah. And then they also have a third Patreon, Ian World Publishing, for the What's Old is New RPG. I talk about What's Old is New fairly frequently because I wrote the middle part of it. But all the rules for it are available for free on WOINRPG.com. And Eons offers up weekly articles with like extra expanded rules and stuff. So
Very cool.
if you're looking for something new and innovative,
Everyone hates that.
carefully supported. Well, I think one of the problems is like there's a lot of cool stuff that comes out, and then the company moves on or shit happens, the production team breaks up, whatever. But the product line
happens, the
doesn't
band
get
breaks
fully
up.
supported.
Yep.
And like that's not gonna happen with What's Old is New RPG. Like it's gonna become a staple. You're gonna see those books for the next 10, 20, 30, 40, etc. years. And now we got like 5 minutes for Jacob. What? Anything you want to talk about, Jacob?
Yes.
That we didn't.
Impart upon us words of wisdom, Jacob. What wisdom can you impart on us? Us professional little goblins over here.
Okay. Words of wisdom. When it comes to art pieces, if it doesn't look wrong, then it's right. I know way too many artists out there who are perfectionists. And let me tell you, you do not have to be a perfectionist in order to get your art to look good. There is a guy named Stefan Sejic who does a lot of comics. He's done like Witchblade, and he's about to do Aquaman in June. And let me tell you,
For that.
this guy's art is amazing. Until you look closely at it, then you see that his line work is really shoddy and slapdash. It's mostly the way he uses colors and his effects. It's beautiful pieces, but it's not perfect. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Just make it look good. That is my secret that I will impart to everyone for art. Also, if you're going to be a professional artist, treat it like a profession. Treat it like your work.
I've had those occasional artists who don't, and it's unfortunate. When you order something and they're like, and they get the prima donna bit on you, you're like, look, man, if you do well, I'm going to order 10 more from you. You know that.
Yeah, make sure you hit your deadlines. That's
Always.
really what it's about.
And like when you get an art order, there's something to be said for like having a discussion about the details.
Always.
But do
So
not
much.
fight the person ordering the art on what they want the art to have.
I'm going back
One
and
of the
forth.
things I loved about Jacob, because Jacob, you just do it. You're not like, are you sure you need this? I'm like, yeah, I need that. You just do it. And there's no argument or back and forth or like several times redrafting because you were like, oh, I didn't want to do it this way, so I did this thing instead. No, you just do what you're asked, and that is so valuable for the person.
I got this guy, Rui, I'm working with right now, and I literally, like, 20 minutes before this, he sent me a thing going, hey, man, how's this look? I'm like, this part looks bad. And he's like, oh, that's perspective. All right, fix it. And, like that, man. A good artist, they'll have that discussion with you. They'll have, hey, what about clothes does this wear? What does this have? What does this have? What does this have? And they'll bring it out of you. They'll make your writing better. Your product better, I should say, because it's a whole piece together.
Jacob, do you want to tell people about meeting reasonable expectations? Since I am here, and that is a great subject for us.
Yes, sometimes people are going to give you details that are not necessary to the art, and you need to point that out sometimes. As a professional, it is your duty to say, this is too much. Yeah, I can do this, but I'm going to charge you a whole lot more if you want to see all of this. Like for the Varanthia Codex cover, insane, huge battlefield in mind. And I was like
from the
this is not
stratosphere.
this is not going to fit on this page. There's no way all of this is going to fit on this page unless it's an aerial space shot. No.
Halflings flying over here into dinosaurs with a samurai are coming off from this other con that you can kind of see on the side. Yeah, it was insane. It was nuts.
I basically fit about 1/4 of what he wanted on the page.
You fit everything that I wanted on the page. You just presented it in a way that was better than what I had envisioned. So, like, you captured the spirit. You totally hit all the goals of what my art order was. It just wasn't the crazy mismatch, like, god-awful battle I had planned. It's still very good. It's excellent. Check it out if you haven't seen the Varantic cover piece. It's really
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, it's all about expectations, what you can do, what you know you can do, and letting the people who hire you know what your capabilities are, so you don't overreach.
It's better to pass on a job now and up your skills and get more work later than to take on something you can't do and then find out and tell the publisher later after they've already done all the other work, and now they're going to have to wait for somebody to fix your job. And
I had a guy at one point. He was begging me for work, and I will remain him nameless. And he was asking me. I looked at his stuff, and like, he's just not good. I'm like, look, man, I'll hire you in a few years, but I can't do it, you know. And he bugged me, and he goes, all right, look, I'll give you something for free. I'll give you a sketch. I'm like, okay, because I want to see what you can do. You know, I'll give you. I'm like, hey, if we use it, I'll pay you full price for it. What we were talked about, and so I was doing necropunk at the time, and I'm like, all right, so we have this thing, and they can take their own heart out and crystallize it, and has a sword and whatever, and like they have this big hole in their chest, and he's just like, I don't think I can do that. Give me some. Kirk, what are you doing? My dog just closed the door for us. And he's like, and I'm like, oh my god, all right, fine. So eventually, by the end of it, I actually did hire him for something, and I got the piece. It was shit, man. I took pity on him, and I hired the piece out. Never fucking again, though. I'm never doing that.
yeah, I had the first guy I ever hired was from Craigslist. Let me tell you, ever hire an artist from Craigslist.
I've done one from Guru.com that I did not enjoy either. I needed someone to fill in for something real quick, and
yeah, if you need to fire somebody for art, you should hire Jacob Blackmon.
I hear he's good and sometimes
I'm currently
available.
accepting commissions, in fact.
Yeah, my dog is being crazy.
And yeah, if
Kirk,
you want,
shut up! Meow, shut up!
thing that you order, that will be from Jacob.
All right, sorry about that.
All right. Well, I think that will wrap it up for today's episode of Professional Goblins.
That
Thank you
sounds
for coming on,
good.
Jacob.
Thank you very much for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a blast, man.
Yeah. All right, to everybody watching, thank you for coming out and checking out the show. And we'll be. Oh my God, I forgot. We have a giveaway. I totally forgot about the giveaway. So one lucky viewer will be getting this unique, cannot buy anywhere, like knit Drow Plushie. I don't know if you can see.
In a cage.
Knit from yarn. Yeah,
it's a little too close to the camera.
If you want the cage, it will cost you extra, because otherwise, like, I can just stuff her in an envelope and it'll cost me like $3 to ship it to you. So the way this is going to work is, you can see there are 4 secret words here on her cage, and each week we will reveal 1 secret word. You email us at let's go for missivakuma@gmail.com. Email missivakuma@gmail.com with the secret word, and everybody who submits all 4 secret words will be put into a lottery, and we'll randomly draw one of them, and I will mail it to you. If you live outside the United States, you will have to pay additional shipping, but as long as you're on the mainland continental, I'll happily pay the $3 or $4 or whatever it is. So, you guys want to choose which one of these secret words I go for?
That one. Whatever the one is you're on right now.
That one!
You know the one I'm talking about.
The secret word is exalted.
Exalted, guys.
Secret word. So
Also,
email exalted to missivakuma@gmail.com, and tune in next week for the next secret word. And
when you talk about the secret word, I really wanted that to be like Pee-wee's Playhouse. You said the secret word! Ah!
Well, I think I was the one that said exalted, so it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe next episode.
Okay.
Let's see. But yeah.
All right,
please
guys.
Enter into our contest and tell your friends and get this cool drow.
All right, guys. So this is Professional Goblins. Thanks for joining us this week. Thanks, Jacob. As always, thanks, Mike. Anyway, have a wonderful week, guys, and we'll see you next week.